What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Leo coming to you guys with yet another video. So today I want to talk about predictions that I have for WWE in 2025. Now, as the year closes for 2024, we're heading into a new year where a lot of these wrestlers can have new opportunities, a new lease on life, and all things like that. So I wanted to give you guys predictions that I have for 2025 for many wrestlers. I'm not gonna try to do a whole bunch, but I'm gonna at least try to limit to 5 to 10 or something like that. But I'm gonna stick with my sweet spot and do 5 predictions for WWE in 2025. So the first prediction that I have for WWE in 2025 is the split of the Judgment Day. Now, recently on WWE television, we have been seeing a split or a shift in the landscape as far as the Judgment Day goes. We're seeing it kind of be somewhat split half and half. We've been seeing on one side, we've been seeing like when we see like Raw sometimes, or even recently on the Raw on Netflix little press conference that they did yesterday. I seen it was kind of teased it a little bit more, where you saw it was Raquel, Dominic Mysterio, and Liv Morgan. And then on the other side, you have Finn, JD, and Carlito. Now, I can see one or two things happening with this split. Either we split it half and half and we send Liv, Raquel, and Dom over to SmackDown, and we keep Finn, JD, and Carlito over on Raw. But I think we're going to send all of them over. But I think it's a possibility Finn Balor might be the next on the chopping block, and he gets kicked out, and therefore Dominic is the one to take over the Judgment Day going forward. Now, that is something I can buy into. That would be something that would be really interesting, because we've seen Rhea's kind of quote unquote be the leader. We've seen Damien kind of quote be the leader, when we're kind of seeing a little bit of glimpse of Finn Balor being the leader as well. So it will kind of be interesting to see what the landscape, or at least the dynamic, would be if it was Dominic being the quote unquote leader of the Judgment Day, and what it would look like, what would it mean for their overall success going forward, and stuff like that. So I would love to kind of see that. The next prediction that I have for 2025 is we will pretty much be seeing um, potentially a new signee get a big push. I think we can potentially see a new signee get a big push. We're already kind of seeing it on NXT, but I'm talking about like a push on the main roster. I can see that maybe if they bring Jordan Grace, but I don't know if they're going to bring her to the main roster or if they're going to bring her to NXT. But if they do bring her to the main roster, I could definitely see them pushing her heavily when she does make it to the main roster. And we've already kind of seen a little bit of glimpse of her in the Royal Rumble. So I wouldn't be too surprised if she were to go after maybe a mid card title upon her return and stuff like that after the Royal Rumble leading into WrestleMania. I could see her finding herself in contention for one of those titles, whether it's the Intercontinental Championship over on Raw or if it's the U.S. Championship over on SmackDown. Regardless of what brand she decides to be on, I think she will make her presence felt, and she will be able to do something really big there. So the next prediction that I am going to make: Gunther loses the World Championship in 2025. I think we are seeing Gunther go through different names right now, but I think with this whole transfer portal that they're trying to do right now, I see Cody going over to Raw, and I see Gunther going over to SmackDown. That way he has a new plethora of new opponents to face him that he has not really crossed paths with just yet, and stuff like that. So I could definitely see them deciding to um, pull the trigger on that and maybe have somebody be built up to face him for the title, which I am totally in agreement with. Gunther, I think we're in an era now where we don't necessarily need to see long reigns for somebody to be built up, for somebody to be looked at as relevant. You do not need to do that. You go back to the era of years and years ago, like in the 90s, early 2000s, we were seeing some of the biggest names hold these world championships, and they didn't even hold them for long, and they were still, looked good even afterward the fact. We look at like people like Stone Cold, people look at like The Rock or Triple H or Cena. We didn't see these long lengthy reigns. We were still seeing these, I wouldn't even say transitional reigns, but we were seeing reigns that were lasting like 4 months, maybe 6 months, and then they dropped it. That we need to kind of get back to that. That's not even just for the World Championship, but that is for the WWE Championship as well. We do not need long, lengthy reigns all the time to establish somebody. Now, if it calls for it, then okay. The only time I think it really calls for it if you're trying to build up somebody who hasn't really been booked to the height of a main eventer just yet, having them hold that title will probably be beneficial for them to establish themselves as a big name and a big deal. So it only calls for it in certain situations, you know what I mean? So that's why I think Gunther will drop it at some point in 2025. I'm not going to say, I don't know who it's going to be, but I do think he's going to drop it nonetheless in 2025. The next prediction that I want to talk about, I think this is literally number two. So my number two that I'm going to be talking about is Finn Balor. Now I know we've been talking about Finn Balor numerous times already. My next prediction: Finn Balor wins Money in the Bank. I think Finn Balor is one of these guys that they even said that they have pretty much want to push him as a make a big deal out of him in 2025. And if you were trying to make him push him heavily, right? And if that is the case, and you're trying to have him potentially win a world title, you have to look at the landscape of what brand he's going to be on, because he's right now, as we stand, we have this whole transfer portal still going on, so people can go to Raw, people can go to SmackDown. Now, if we're looking at the landscape, what it's going to look like on Raw, I don't think his chances of winning a world championship will be that good, because if we want to be honest, look what's going to happen. If you're going to have Finn Balor stay on Raw, right? Going back to what I said with the whole Judgment Day split. If you're gonna have him be on Raw, look at what it's gonna have be like. So on Raw, we're gonna pretty much have Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. You're probably gonna have um um Cody Rhodes be drafted over. That's gonna be even bigger. You're gonna have Solo. You're gonna have Jacob. You're gonna probably have The Rock come in at some point. Maybe you have Kevin Owens or Randy come in, then Drew, because he's still doing that feud with them. Like, if you have him on Raw, his chance of winning that WWE championship that Cody Rhodes told him, if that goes to Raw, his chances of winning that championship are extremely low, because I do not see a world where they're gonna put the championship on him. Now, granted, in the Triple H era, we're seeing things that we normally won't see happen under the previous regime, but still, I still think it is a very low chance that they decide to pull the trigger on Finn Balor winning the world title on that brand. At best, he might win like a mid card title, but I think we've seen him do that already. We've seen him become a numerous time Intercontinental Champion. We've seen him become the U.S. Champion. We've seen him become a multi-time Tag Team Champion. He needs to hold that World Championship at some point, and the best way to do that, have him win Money in the Bank. But granted, you could also have him win it straight up. But I think him winning Money in the Bank would be really, really cool. I really do. I really do. Um, so the next, so I think he's gonna win a world championship in 2025. Now, I'm gonna actually make it six predictions, because I actually have another prediction that I'm gonna do. That was number three. This was gonna be my actual number two. So my number two prediction: Jay Uso wins a world championship. It's long overdue. The crowd is really behind him. Wherever he goes, he gets some of the biggest pops, and I feel like they kind of hammered the nail in the coffin of him potentially being a main eventer and winning a world championship in 2025. If you go back to Survivor Series War Games last month, if you look at how they did the entrance order, I think Jimmy Uso came out first, right? But then I think you had CM Punk. You had Jimmy Uso, Sami Zayn. You had CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and then Jay Uso came out after CM Punk and Roman Reigns. That is a huge deal. The fact that you literally had him come out after your two biggest stars that you have in your company, that is telling you that he is going to be put in line for a world title push. Now you're asking me, how do you think he can win it? Now, I did say Finn Balor could win should win Money in the Bank, but if they wanted to pivot and give it to somebody else, Jey Uso would be a great name to have as Mr. Money in the Bank. People wanted to see him win the Money in the Bank ladder match this year and were pissed that he didn't. When it went to Drew to further the CM Punk Drew storyline, when it didn't need to be furthered, it was already as hot as it was, and you threw the briefcase away, people were pissed because people wanted to see Jey Uso win. Could you imagine him winning that briefcase and then having that yeet in the bank settle on W shot? That would have made the WWE huge amounts of money like crazy. So you could have him win it next year. You could have him win it straight up. I mean, this is a stretch, but imagine if he won the Royal Rumble and he went over to, and he stays on SmackDown and challenges Gunther. Him and Gunther for the World Championship. Take my money, because then you have that story with Jey Uso and Gunther, because Jey Uso can go up to Gunther and says, yeah, when you were Intercontinental Champion, you faced me and you beat me. But let's be honest, the only reason why you beat me because there was interference. If you didn't have interference, I would have beat you and I would have ended your reign before you even went into WrestleMania. So he can bring up those facts to throw at Gunther, and it can make the feud even more interesting and more intriguing than it already could be. So I do think at some point in time we could be sitting here and saying main event Jey Uso is Mr. Money in the Bank or is a future world champion. Now my number one prediction, we got to talk about it. Dominic Mysterio to win the US or Intercontinental Championship. Dominic Mysterio is one of the best. He's really one of the most improved in the ring. He has the charisma. He just gives me Eddie Guerrero vibes to the down to the T at this point. Like you step in the when he steps in the ring, he has aura. The crowd is booing him out of the bank. He's pretty much one of the biggest heels right now. I don't know if you would consider him the biggest heel or would you consider the New Day the biggest heels, because when they turned on Big E, they have elevated them to probably one of the biggest heels in the WWE right now. And then I think if they were to do that, then maybe put him down to number two. But he still gets some of the biggest boos. Don't get me wrong. A boo is a boo. But still. But then I think his mission in 2025 is for him to win the U.S. or Intercontinental Championship. Now I know a lot of people want him to see want to see him win Money in the Bank, which would be cool. But I think his mission should solely be winning the U.S. or Intercontinental Championship. Now, I don't know how soon that would be. Maybe as we get to WrestleMania, if there's not really anything in store for him. If they wanted to do like a multi-man ladder match for like the U.S. or IC belt, put him in contention for that, and he should win. That would literally elevate him to the next level, because people know Dominic Mysterio is one of the very best right now. He has, like I said, he has the promos, he has the charisma, he just has it. I think he has the tools to carry himself into the future and be a big player for the WWE. If they can keep the trajectory that they're on with him, he's going to be something truly, truly special. I think that is, if I have to pick a bold prediction, one of my biggest predictions that I want to see come true, that is it right there. Dominic Mysterio to win either the US or Intercontinental Championship in 2025. Seriously, it's long overdue. People have been claiming for it for months. I thought they were going to do this last year. I thought they were going to do it last year, but they didn't. Or this past year even, but they haven't. So I think it's about time to put him in contention and have him win. I don't know if they're holding back on him just yet because they haven't involved with this Judgment Day storyline right now. And it seems like he needs something. He needs something to really stamp himself that he is a guy on his own. He can do things just as much as anybody else can. That's what his mission should be. He's, I wouldn't say breaking out from the Judgment Day, but breaking out in the sense of he's able to win big accomplishments and stuff like that too. So I think that should be his mission come 2025. And we've seen him hold the North American title. I don't know if like they're holding back, like I said, because of that, or if they're holding back because of what the current landscape is for the Intercontinental Championship and U.S. Championship right now. Because right now the Intercontinental Championship is held by Braun Breaker and the U.S. Championship is held by Shinsuke Nakamura. So I don't know if they're waiting until those titles potentially switch and go to someone else. Maybe. Like, think about if Shinsuke were lost it to someone like an AJ, and then AJ loses it to Dominic. That would be a big deal. Or if Sheamus beats Braun Breaker and Dominic takes it off of Sheamus. Those are big deals because he's winning the championship, but he's beating a big name in the process to establish himself as the champion and potentially being something to look out for as champion. But that is the end of the video, guys. Comment down below. Let me know what are some of your predictions for WWE in 2025. What if it's a certain wrestler winning something, or a certain tag team, a debut, a return? Let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. On the road to 450 subscribers. We're at 425 right now. Let's get to that milestone by the end of the year. I know we can do it as a wrestling community, as a wrestling family. The ultimate goal next year for 2025 is getting 10,000 subscribers on YouTube for myself, for my channel. So let's make that happen. Let's do it. I can't do this without you guys. Super kick that like button helps my channel get pushed across the platform so more people can see what I'm doing over here on YouTube. Superman punch that post notification bell, and spear that subscribe button. Takes 3 seconds out of the day. Those 3 things for me hustling the progression of my channel as well. But with that being said, hope everyone has a great day, a great week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.